Hola clase, soy yo, Señor Kell, and today we're going to take a look at the preterite of IR and ER verbs. Now remember that we've studied the preterite before when we looked at the AR verbs, so let's take a second and review what the preterite actually is. The preterite tense refers to a past action. Remember, in Spanish there are two kinds of past tense, but the preterite refers to a specific completed action. We know when it actually occurred. Remember, we use those words like ayer, la semana pasada, anoche, etc. in our sentences. We studied the preterite endings for AR verbs. Let's take a look at what those were. Aste, o, amos, astes, and arron. Remember, to conjugate a preterite verb or any verb, we drop the AR first. So after we drop the AR, we can add these preterite endings. Aste, o, amos, astes, and arron. Remember that the yo and the el, ella, usted form have accents. Very important to remember because they not only change who is doing the action, but when the action occurred. Let's take a look at what these look like on an AR verb. The verb tirar means to throw. So in past tense, this verb would mean threw. So tiré, tiraste, tiró, tiramos, tirasteis, tiraron. So now these endings make this verb a past tense action. Today we're going to take a look at the IR-ER endings for preterite verbs. So a lot of these verbs that we studied, we couldn't conjugate because we hadn't learned the endings yet. But today we're going to take a look at those endings. Here are the endings for those verbs. The ER and IR preterite endings are as follows. Iste, io, imos, istes, ieron. Notice again that the first and third person have that red arrow there pointing to the accent. That accent is very important, and we need to make sure that we include that accent on our conjugations. Okay, so what would this actually look like on an IR-ER verb? Look at the verb aprender. We drop that ER, and now we have aprendí, aprendiste, aprendió, aprendimos, aprendisteis, aprendieron. So no longer is it to learn, but I learned. Aprendí, you learned. Aprendiste. Let's take a look at another verb that we know. The verb beber, which means to drink. So no longer in the present tense to drink, but in the preterite, drank. So yo bebí, tú bebiste, él, ella, usted bebió, nosotros bebimos, vosotros bebisteis, ellos, ellas, ustedes bebieron. I want to show you guys something here. Show you a couple things. Number one, let's take a look at the endings again. Remember, we dropped that IR, ER first, and then we add iste, io, imos, istes, ieron. But the other thing I want to show you is look at all these IR and ER verbs that we've already studied. Abrir, barrer, beber, comer, conocer, correr, entender, envolver, escribir, perder, recibir, vender, vivir, envolver. All of these verbs we now can conjugate in the past tense. So if I wanted to say, I opened, abrí. If I wanted to say, we ate, comimos, etc. So we can use these in our sentences and in the activities that we are doing in class. All right, let's take a look at some of the stuff here. Wanted to point out to you guys that we have taken a look at Senior Jordan's videos before. Let me get to that right there. You guys remember Senior Jordan. We've watched a couple of his videos in class. He also has a video on the preterite of regular ER verbs. I would advise you guys taking a moment and watching a video that he has as he reviews how to conjugate those things in the preterite. Also want to remind you guys that you can follow me on Instagram and at Twitter at @SeniorKell Spanish 2. As you can see, here's a picture of homework that I posted recently. Sometimes extra credit opportunities are on there, and on Twitter as well. You guys, that's just a way for you guys to remember to do your homework. And finally, as always, you guys know that you can always go to Class Zone, practice on conjuguemos.com, practice these new preterite of IR and ER verbs. You can also do some self-check quizzes there in the top right corner, or do some extra practice on the at-home tutor. Well, I hope that you guys found this video somewhat helpful today, and as always, you guys can come in early and ask questions. Email me if you guys have questions, and look forward to seeing you guys in class and seeing how well you guys respond to this video. Hope that this new way of teaching seems to work out, and some of you respond a little bit better to that as well. Adios, and have a great day.